Today you'll hear from attorney and CPA Marilyn Sims, president of the Bill and Helen Crowder Foundation. These are the people and the foundation whose generosity helped build this very podcast studio where we record patients, survivors, friends, physicians every month. As president of the foundation, Marilyn says it's now her privilege to give away Bill's money, and it has certainly helped fuel the Rose's mission. Her own story took a sharp turn when she discovered a lump and was diagnosed with Stage III HER2 positive breast cancer. She also talks about the 18 months of treatment and how she worked all the way through her chemo. She talks about losing her hair and her nails and how she had to learn to say no, and the shift from being a very private person to openly talking about her own journey because it just might help another woman catch her cancer in time. If Marilyn's story makes you think of a woman who's tried to do everything right, then share this episode and consider making a donation so another woman gets the care she needs at the Rose. Welcome to Let's Talk About Your Breast, a podcast brought to you by the Rose, Breast Imaging Center of Excellence and a Texas treasure. I'm Dorothy Gibbons, your host and co-founder of the Rose. During this season, you'll also be hearing from co-host Roxanne Hayford and others as we bring you stories from survivors, physicians, caregivers, researchers, employees, and supporters. These are real people sharing difficult times, celebrations, and personal stories of hope, despair, and faith. Marilyn, thank you so much for being with us today. I've only tried to get you on this show for how long now?
A long time.
Long time. But you did have a reason.
I was.
That you didn't want to just jump in here and be a guest for us. So, first of all, I want to tell you how grateful we are for this studio. Mm-hmm. And that was a gift from the Bill and Helen Crowder Foundation, which you are the president of
am.
It. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been?
The Bill and Helen Crowder Foundation has been in existence since 1998, so 28 years now.
Oh, my goodness.
Long time.
So you knew them?
I didn't know Bill. The foundation is a private foundation that was set up by Bill under his will. Well, actually, he set it up prior to his passing, but just in case it didn't get its 501c exemption when he passed away, he left in his will where he wanted his assets to go. Let me back up a little bit. Bill was never able to have children with his first wife, and so he had always had a passion and given to children's organizations. He was actually from Dallas, and then he moved to the LaPorte area. And so when he moved to LaPorte and he started his businesses here, he would always give to children's charities and throughout all of his life. And so when he passed away, his attorney said, let's decide where you want your assets to go. But I would like to set up where it can go in perpetuity. And so rather than leaving in your will at my death, all my assets go outright to these charities, which we knew who he wanted them to go to. We're going to set up a foundation, a private foundation, where we hold all the assets that you have, and we give away a little every year. And we were able to get it set up prior to his passing, and so his will funded that private foundation. And so he had already married Helen Crowder, his second wife, and Helen became our president of the foundation. And every year, all the money the foundation earns gets to be given away. And so 28 years ago, we started with about $3.5 million, and we have, over the last 28 years, given $6 million, and we still have millions to go, thanks to a really good stock market.
Oh, my goodness. That is amazing.
And so Helen's greatest joy was being able to continue to fund the children's foundation charities that Bill enjoyed giving to. And she would always say, "I just love giving away Bill's money."
Well,
and the Rose was one of those organizations that we have funded for years.
yes.
And when you came to us and said, "What can we do? We have this studio we'd like to build out," and we thought it was a great idea, even though it's not a children's foundation. Children are impacted by breast cancer all the time.
Yes.
And so we felt like it was a really good charity to be able to do something that would carry Bill's and Helen's memories into the future.
Oh, well, we so appreciate
Yes.
everything that the Crowder Foundation has helped us with. But this studio has been one of the best educational
It has.
vehicles we have ever had.
We had.
And when I think about the young mothers who have come on and told their stories and how another young woman might hear it, not knowing that she too could have breast cancer. I mean, it's just been amazing.
Just getting the education out there.
Yes, it
Getting
has
the
been.
education, and this vehicle has worked.
Awareness is, it's not like it used to be. You have to do what's happening now for it to work anymore. That's for sure.
You do.
So that was when you first learned about the Rose? Through
Actually, no.
Oh.
I learned about the Rose when I moved to the Houston area in the late 70s. And I needed to find a place to have my first mammogram. And it was at the Rose.
Really? My goodness.
It was. I had just started to work, so I had insurance, but I had heard that, you could come here as well, and you were not very far from my office. And so I had my first mammogram at the Rose.
So tell us about what it is you do. Like I said, I did not realize you were so accomplished. I kept reading, and it's not just an attorney.
When I moved to the big city from a small town, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I went to work I moved to Pasadena, and so a lot of jobs there were in industry, and so I worked for a company that sold a product to the refineries. And while I was there, I started thinking, I enjoy doing things with numbers. And so the company sent me to night school, and I went to the local college and then the local university. I went to San Jacinto College in Pasadena and got my associates in business. Then I went on to University of Houston Clear Lake and got my accounting degree at the University of Houston Clear Lake. And after I got my accounting degree, I knew I wanted to keep going to school, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so my husband said, "Well, why don't you sit for the LSAT? You can go to law school." And so I did, and I did well on it. So then I continued my education. I worked for 10 years for my original company. And so I retired after 10 years. But I did all my school at night. But when I got into law school, I decided I need to do this full time. Mm-hmm. And so I got into University of Houston Law Center and went to law school for 3 years. Before going to law school, since I had my accounting degree, I decided to sit for the CPA exam. And I did, and I passed all 4 parts of it. So I was a CPA going to law school. And so I kept, when I was in law school, trying to find something I could do with my CPA as well as my law degree. And so the first semester I clerked with the bankruptcy court, and I thought, there's lots of numbers in bankruptcy. I'm going to be a bankruptcy lawyer. And then I decided probably bankrupt clients weren't the best ones to have. So the next semester I clerked with the probate courts. And there are lots of numbers and lots of planning and lots of things that you can do with your accounting degree when you do estate planning for clients. And so I knew I wanted to do that. My next semester, I clerked for my law firm. And when you're a clerk at a law firm, and at that time we only had about 7 attorneys at my firm, you generally do litigation. And I knew I didn't really want to do litigation. I wanted to do transactional work. I wanted to do deals. I wanted to plan for clients. And so I did clerk as in their litigation department, but they didn't have a job for me after I finished law school. So after I finished law school, I went back to work for Ernst and Young, which they had given me a scholarship for my accounting degree. And so I worked for Ernst and Young, and I got my CPA certificate signed off, because you're supposed to work under another CPA to get your certificate signed off. And so I stayed for about a year and a half, and I did high wealth individuals and trust returns and estate returns and foundation returns and all the kinds of tax returns for the entities that I create now. And for my clients. And so it was a good background on how to do that and what to do. But I went to work for my law firm in 1993. And so I have been there ever since.
Oh, my goodness. So, Marilyn, when you discovered that you had breast cancer, let's go to that story.
Okay.
Were you surprised?
Shocked. I always thought I did everything right. You eat right, you exercise. I knew I didn't get enough sleep. I knew I burned candles at both ends, as you do in our careers and our busy lives, but was very surprised because why me? Breast cancer did not run in my family at all, so it's not something that I anticipated ever having.
And you were doing your regular mammograms?
Every year. And over the last few years, ultrasounds as well. And so when I had a clean ultrasound and mammogram in October of 2023, didn't think anything about it. But in August of 2024 is when I discovered a lump right before we were getting ready to go for Labor Day weekend. Oh. And I said to my husband, this doesn't feel right. I think I'm going to have to make an appointment early to get it checked out. And so I did immediately. And when I went into the ultrasound, they said, yeah, we see a little something there. And I said, well, I better go get it checked out in depth. And on September 13th is when I finally ultimately got the, yes, it's definitely cancer diagnosis. Friday, September 13th of 2024. Oh. Remember the exact place you are whenever you get that call. But we immediately, started the process and procedures and started treatment already in October of 2023.
And your cancer was particularly aggressive.
It was particularly aggressive. So within 8 months, it was HER2 positive, and within 8 months of my last mammogram, it was already stage 3. Oh. It had gotten into my lymph nodes under my arm and into my neck, the lymph nodes in my neck. And so it was pretty aggressive, but being HER2 positive, there are actually more available treatments for that type of cancer. And so I immediately started on October 2nd with my first treatments for the cancer. And would you like me to tell you what those are?
Yes.
Okay. So I had 8 really aggressive chemo treatments, the Red Devil, and those were every 2 weeks. And so immediately you start seeing the side effects of those. Although I want to say that I'm a pretty strong person. I tolerated them pretty well. I actually worked the entire time for my entire treatment, which this Friday will be 18 months of treatments. So it started out with the first 8 really heavy dosage to shrink the tumor. And then after the shrinking of the tumor, then we did a mastectomy. And mine was just on the right side. And then we did reconstruction at the same time. And then we did 30 rounds of radiation. And that was every day for, 5 days a week.
Right.
And then I thought I was finished. Everything came back clear. The scans were clear. And the radiologist said, there's really post-op treatment that you should take. And at this stage, I was like, oh my gosh, because I had been in treatment from October to July of the next year. And I said, what are the odds if I decide that I don't want to take these? And they said there's a 45% chance it'll come back if you don't take the post-op treatments. And my treatment plan, the post-op treatments were 14 lower grade chemo treatments. And those were once every 3 weeks. And I just finished those February 15th. So it was been 3 weeks since I did it.
Well, congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you.
My
you.
goodness. So did you ever get angry during that time with the ongoing treatments?
You
What did
get
you
used
feel?
to it.
Oh.
You get used to it. The first ones were sort of like, yes, you had anxiety because you didn't know what to expect. But having so many, particularly these last ones, you knew what to expect. The first day you went in for the treatment, you felt okay. It was just a treatment. The next day, you felt pretty good. The third day, you just felt like you had the flu. And the longer you are on the treatments, the more tired you get.
Oh, that's true.
Yes. It just zaps your energy. But when I first found out that I had cancer, I typed my fellow shareholders an email and I said, this is what I have. I understand that it's going to mean that I'm out of the office for my treatments. But if you will let me, I would just like to keep on my routine. I want to come to work. I want to take care of my clients. I want to do what I enjoy doing. And they were all very supportive and said, whatever we can do, we'll want to do it for you. So, and that, I think, gave me the stamina to just keep going.
Right.
There was a reason to keep going.
Yeah. You couldn't give into it.
I couldn't give into it. People ask me, well, how did you go to work every day? And I said, well, there are days that I didn't feel good, but I can feel bad at the office just like I can at home.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So I just keep going because there's something that needs to be done, and I enjoy doing that, and that helped my mind not concentrate on, this is serious. You're really sick. You should, although I did cut back on a lot of my activities.
Well, you had so many. I mean, really, how many organizations are you actively a part of?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, we know all of the schools, right? All of the colleges. You've continued to be. What else?
I enjoy giving back. I enjoy working with young people, giving them an opportunity. I enjoy working with my clients, giving them whatever planning and advice that they might need.
Right.
And so it just helps me to stay busy.
Well, I know so many people have benefited from your busyness, that's for sure. And you do have a soft place in your heart for girls.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't have any children of my own. I have stepchildren, but I don't have any of my own. And I just feel like everybody should have the opportunity, if they want to take it, to go and do what they want to do. And there's so many people out there that just don't have the opportunity or don't have a role model to look up to.
Right.
And so if there's any advice that I can give them, to work hard, follow your goals, do whatever it is that you want to do. And if financially, if they don't have the ability to do it, try to help them in some way to get that.
Well, you have.
Yeah.
So many, my goodness.
Thank you. Thank you.
So who was your support system during your cancer?
Oh, my gosh.
Your treatment?
My husband was my rock. He was there for every treatment, everything I needed anything that I needed.
Every treatment.
Every treatment. Now, he might have been taking a nap in the chair next door to me, but he was there. And my coworkers, everybody at the office was so supportive. As I said, every time I'd go into a meeting, I'd say, now, do I look okay to go into this meeting? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? Because as you go through cancer, there are many, many changes to your body.
Yes.
The chemo really, it destroys all the bad cells, but it destroys all the good ones too. And so you just sort of have to rebuild yourself and try to maintain as best you can and do what you can.
So would you mind describing some of those changes?
Well, with the Red Devil treatment that I was on, you lose your hair. That's usually the first thing that goes. You lose your eyebrows, your eyelashes, any hair anywhere is possibly falling out. For me, I had lost my nails, my fingernails, my toenails, so those all have to grow back. People get neuropathy in different areas of their body. And the thing that I learned throughout this is that the treatments they give us, there are no two people that react the same.
No.
Everybody's body is different on how it reacts to these. And cancer's been around so long, they have come up with some different treatments. Everybody told me whenever I got cancer, oh, you don't want to lose your hair, it's your signature. And I was like, yeah, it's my signature. But there's this type of treatment called the cold pressed head, where you basically chill yourself down before the treatment, cold cap. But the cold cap takes about an hour before the treatments, and the treatments the first ones are about 4 hours. So that meant about 5 to 6 to 7 hours just for treatments if I decided to do the cold cap. And there's no guarantees with the cold cap. So some people still lost their hair. So I just elected to wear wigs during that time and to do the best I could.
Well, and it was like I was telling you, you really couldn't tell with yours. And I think, but you shared earlier that it's because you had it look like your own hair.
I did.
You made sure of that.
I have an excellent hairdresser, and she said, before you lose your hair, go and get a wig that looks like your hair. And so I went on my website and I said to the lady that was fitting me for the wig, I said, make me look like this because soon I'm not going to. And I did, and I progressed over time. And I had hoped to progress into what it has turned into today because I have never had curly hair in my life. And I am just as curly now as I ever have. But for a full year, I wore a wig, and then I decided I needed to come out and show everybody what this really is, and that after 18 months, I am done.
You're done.
I am done. Of course, you still chemo. You always have this anxiety that, is it going to come back? When's my next scan? What will it find? And so that's just always going to be there with me.
How do you talk yourself down? Do you, or you just come to?
I am just a positive person, and I say, I can do this. I can do this. Somebody gave me a bag whenever I started this. It says, you got this. And I carried it to every treatment.
Wait, whatever it takes.
You find your comfort. And then the other thing that helped me throughout all of this is just talking to other people that have it as well. Even though none of us are going through the same process, none of us are having the same reactions, it always helped me to talk to somebody and say, are you having this symptom? Does this, and they'll either say yes or no, I'm having something else. And talking through it with other people certainly helps to relieve the anxiety because you know that there's somebody else going through the same thing.
But Marilyn, you're a very private person, as I remember you. How hard was that to talk to other people? Did it shift over your time of treatment?
It probably did. Yeah, it probably did. You go through so much during this time. And so you become less private and because you have to go see all these doctors and
everybody's looking at you.
Everybody's looking at you. And when I went into this, I said, I don't know why I'm on this journey, but it's for some reason. Maybe it's to help others. And so if what I'm doing helps others, then I've gotten a benefit out of it. And so doing
How did it help others?
Just letting them know that they can get through this too, that they're not alone, that others can help them get through the situation they're in. I had a great support group around me. For those people that don't have one, finding a support group, having somebody available to help talk you through some of these things. Everybody has different windows that they're looking through as they go through this
that's a good
trauma. And I may be on one side of the window and see something else, and somebody may see something else. But talking about those helps them to know that there's other people that have a different view than they do. And try to get them through whatever it is that they need to get through. And maybe that's why I have had this and I'm on that mission to try to help others.
Well, I just remember as you were going through this how careful you were about sharing, and then something shifted, and you were very, very open. And I say this because that's also sometimes how we are. You know, it's that time of being private, that time of not wanting to talk, to a time where you can.
And maybe it's because I'm at the end of the tunnel. When you're at the beginning of the tunnel, there's a harder road to know what your future is. One of the hardest things, I think, is just being able to plan.
That's so true.
You know, when you're in the middle of all this, your planning schedule, your schedule is all your appointments that you're going to do. And so you're not really able to say, oh, I can go out of town next week because I don't know how I'm going to feel if I go out of schedule to go out of town next week. And so as you get to the end of all of the appointments, you can finally say, I can make that. I can make that event. I can do that. And so I remember being very hesitant whenever I was going through a lot of it. Somebody would say, can we get together at this meeting on such and such night? And I'm like, maybe. It just depends on how I feel.
But you know, that was a teacher also in a way where you had to stop being Superwoman for a little while.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did pull back a lot because, you know, one of the things that we as career women do is we push ourselves. We think we have to be everything to everybody.
Right.
And what I learned and discovered during this is you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
First and foremost, so you can take care of others.
Right.
And so just trying to make sure that you're a priority as well. If you need downtime, take it.
It's hard for someone who's always out there, always working. Yes.
It is hard. But being able to say no, that's a hard thing for career women to do as well because you're so active and you want to please everybody and you want to make sure everybody's work is done.
You don't want to let anybody down.
I know. Yeah. But just know and take your health as a priority. Take that extra hour to sleep if you need it. Do the things that need to be done for yourself first, and then everybody else you can take care of everybody else.
Do you see yourself as stronger? You were always strong.
I don't know that I was stronger. I think I have more of a view of priorities and the importance of spending time and quality time with people rather than, just going from meeting to meeting to meeting and trying to prioritize what's important in your life.
Right.
And health is one of those.
It is. It certainly is.
Yes. And I don't know how to emphasize more because, as I said, my cancer came up with a vengeance in such a short period of time. Just in between those mammograms, be sure that you check yourself.
Good advice.
Be sure that you check yourself.
Because the mammogram is no guarantee for anything.
No guarantee, and a year is a long time. Thankfully, mine was caught, I won't say stage 3 is an early stage, but had I waited until October and just blown it off, it probably would have been much worse and much more drastic. And so getting in and getting the treatment that I needed quickly.
It made all the difference. Yeah.
Other things and other advice that I'd give to people is there are so many different treatment methods out there, and explore them for yourselves. Get second opinions. Everybody has a protocol on how they treat things. And I recall when the question they asked me when I first went in is, what are you looking for? Are you looking to be cured of cancer, or are you looking just for the minimal treatment? And of course, everybody's objective is to say, I want to be cured of cancer, of course, not even thinking about that. But I recall then later, as I was being asked whether or not I wanted the post-op chemo, I was reminded that they said, well, you did say you wanted to be cured of cancer, and 45% odds of having it reoccur.
That's pretty high.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
And so, but it's all personal to everyone, and just hoping that everyone has the opportunity to get the kind of care that they need. I was still working, so I had insurance and I had all of those. I think of all those people that are raising families and have jobs and maybe don't have the insurance coverage to be able to have the option of, should I do this or should I do that? Right. And so
no matter what, cancer costs in many ways.
Yeah. And, having the Rose here in our backyard to help with all of that, and all across Texas with your mobile units.
With our mobile units, yeah. You've certainly seen us grow.
Certainly an advantage. I have.
Yes.
I have. And it's delightful to see that. And now international with these podcasts.
Oh, yes. Again, thank you for that. Thank you for all of the support.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad you're finished.
Me too.
Thank you for coming in.
Me too. You bet.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.